Welcome this morning once again to the Faculty of Science and Technology public lecture on embracing the artificial intelligence revolution in Africa, understanding both the promise and the peril.
I thank you all for honoring us with your presence. And I feel greatly honored this morning to welcome you all to this prestigious public lecture. In the life of universities, public lectures increase the heartbeats. They really define the stature of a university by being able to engage in those issues that are of great mutual interest to us as individuals, as communities, and as part of the global village. Milton State University is privileged to be hosting an eminent scholar of Professor Mutambara's stature, one of the leading minds shaping contemporary discourse on artificial intelligence and its implications for human development.
Professor Mutambara is a distinguished and prolific author of 8 books, including 3 on artificial intelligence. Please, may you join me in inviting Professor Mutambara to give his lecture. Thank you very much.
Iwewe MC, you forgot a very important part of my resume. You forgot to tell them that Mutambara used to run Zimbabwe. Former Deputy Prime Minister, once upon a time in this country was led by President Mugabe, Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai, and Deputy Prime Minister Mutambara. Now, if you put those 3 people together, President Mugabe, Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai, and rockstar Professor Mutambara, I don't know Zimbabwean. Anyway, thank you so very much, Vice Chancellor, for having me. Vice Chancellor Muzidziwa, I'm so happy to be here, you and your team and the students. I'm very happy to be here because I'm addressing the #1 university in the country. Why do I say so? Why do I say #1? Because you are #1 in terms of the number of students. You are #1 in terms of the brand MSU. You already have produced a Rhodes Scholar, Gift Gawawa, from MSU. But the thing that makes me very proud, Vice Chancellor, is the fact that you have introduced at this university entrepreneurship as a mandatory subject for everyone. Entrepreneurship is now mandatory. Computer, digital, and AI skills are now mandatory at MSU. That is progress, that is revolutionary. I want to thank you for doing that. Many people are following behind you. Today we're talking about embracing the artificial intelligence revolution in Africa. We want to understand why we call it a revolution. When we say AI, we are talking about a machine, an algorithm, a computer system that can learn, that can solve problems, that can make decisions. You can have in a machine, in an algorithm, learning. If you can have problem solving, if you can have decision making, then we have an AI system. That's all. Things that you and I take for granted are what defines AI when we have it in a machine or in an algorithm or computer system. In particular, we are saying deep learning is a part of machine learning. Machine learning is a part of AI. So you must know how things are related. So you can't say, I'm studying AI and machine learning. It's like saying, I'm going to Zimbabwe and Gweru. No, you can't say that. You say, I'm going to Zimbabwe, in particular, Gweru. So you can say, I'm studying AI, in particular, machine learning. I'm studying machine learning, in particular, deep learning. Understand the relations between the ideas in AI. In particular, you must understand the difference between automation and AI. Automation is about rules, your elevator, your cruise control, your automated plant that produces cars. AI is about learning. AI becomes better. There's a difference between automation and AI, and the key issue in AI is learning, getting better from data and learning. Okay? Also, when you say AI, remember what we call the AI stack. Whenever they say AI to you, say, what are the 5 layers? Energy, you can see, is the foundation of AI. Without power, there's no AI. Without energy, there's no AI. After energy, we talk about the chips, the graphic processing units, the CPUs, the NPUs, the chips that power AI are the second layer. After that, we talk about data centers. We talk about AI factories, the AI infrastructure. Then on top of that, we talk about the models, the large language models, LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok 4, the models. Then on top of that are your applications. So when you are studying this field, young people, make sure you understand the importance of energy in AI, the importance of the chips in AI, the importance of the infrastructure, the data centers and the AI factories, and then the models. And of course, the applications of AI in mining. This is what we call the AI stack that powers the AI revolution. And I'm going to get a billionaire to talk to you. A billionaire who owns the largest company in the world, Jensen. His company is worth $5.33 trillion today. He's going to say something to us about
AI is actually essentially a 5-layer cake. At the bottom is energy. AI, because it's processed in real time and it generates intelligence in real time, it needs energy to do so. Energy is the first layer. The second layer is the layer that I live in. It's chips. Chips and computing infrastructure. The next layer above it is the cloud infrastructure, the cloud services. The layer above that is the AI models. This is where most people think AI is. But don't forget that in order for those models to happen, you have to have all of the layers underneath it. But the most important layer, and this is the layer that's happening right now, the reason why last year was an incredible year, frankly, for AI, is that the AI models made so much progress that the layer above it, which is ultimately the layer that we all need to succeed, the application layer above that.
Always remember the 5 layers. You are speaking in January at Davos. In terms of classification, or what we call taxonomy, we start with the simple task AI, then multitask AI, then you have what we call generative AI. That one is the big one. The reason why in the past 3-4 years AI has taken off is because of generative AI. ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok 4, DeepSeek R1. This has been the engine of the AI revolution in the past 4 or 5 years. This year, we're moving into agentic AI. And then beyond that is what we call artificial general intelligence, AGI. Then beyond that, we have artificial super intelligence. Always remember the taxonomy, the classification of AI, so that you are clear how we progress in terms of AI. When we say generative AI, we're talking about an AI that creates new content, new ideas, new images, new music, new knowledge. The key drivers of generative AI is what are called LLMs, large language models, a type of AI trained on a vast amount of data to understand, generate, and process human-like language. That is the definition of generative AI. In terms of the key LLMs, you know all of them, some of them, ChatGPT, Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, Grok 4, you must be familiar with these LLMs. This is what is driving generative AI. Okay? Beyond that, we have agentic AI. Agentic AI, we're now saying we are having an AI system that is operating with minimum or no human interaction. Okay, you are combining LLMs to produce a program that is independent of the decision maker. That is the big issue in 2026, agentic AI, agents. Okay, it gets more interesting. We have what we call artificial general intelligence, a computer system or machine that will exhibit all human cognitive capabilities, reasoning, problem solving, creativity, and social skills, just like you. All the things you can do, we're going to put them in a machine, in an AI system. Not yet achieved, it's work in progress. When we are successful, we're going to have what's called AGI. Beyond that, it gets even more interesting. We have what's called artificial superintelligence. Now, we're talking about a computer system which surpasses human intelligence across all domains, so that we have an AI system that is smarter than our smartest person, outperforming our cleverest person in terms of every intellectual task. Smarter than Einstein in terms of IQ, smarter than Newton in terms of IQ, smarter than Bill Gates and Elon Musk put together. That is called artificial superintelligence. We're not there yet. It's work in progress. I want us to understand the nature of the beast, where we are going, the trajectory of AI. You know why we're worried about this one? You know, once you get one super intelligent agent, getting a billion is trivial. In technology, replication is trivial. When the car was discovered by Mr. Ford, producing 1,000 cars was trivial. When the Wright brothers got the aeroplane going, getting 100 planes was trivial. So once we get one super intelligent agent, getting a billion becomes trivial. Now, how are we going to control a world where there are a billion agents which are smarter than our smartest person? How can you do that? This is the danger and the worry around superintelligence. A book, I'll be sharing books for you to read. Read a book by Harari. He talks about this notion of superintelligence.
We have no experience in history of a less intelligent species that manages to control a more intelligent species. Horses don't control us. Cows don't control us. We control them. What happens when we create a more intelligent species than us? These super intelligent AIs. So maybe in the short term, it will be good for our economic growth and prosperity. But what happens in 20, 30, 50 years when millions of super intelligent AIs...
What happens when the cat is smarter than you? What happens when the horse is smarter than you? Who's going to control who? That is the danger and fears around superintelligence.
How do you see the future for humans?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
We don't know. Nobody has any idea how the world would look like in 50 years or even 20 years, because it depends on our decision. One of the biggest dangers is that our own creations will get out of our control and will enslave or annihilate us. The very term AI, people think of it as an acronym for artificial intelligence, but with each passing year, AI is becoming less and less artificial. By artificial, we mean...
These are the dangers of AI in the future. When we get to superintelligence, we don't know what's going to happen. There are so many unknowns. This man here, Geoffrey Hinton, is considered the father or godfather of AI. He got a Nobel Prize in the year 2024. His major contribution is called backpropagation, which is the key driver of deep learning. He's worried. Now, he's the godfather of AI. And you are not the godfather of anything, so you must be super worried. What has he got to say? Let's listen.
Does humanity know what it's doing?
No. I think we're moving into a period when, for the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us.
You believe they can understand?
Yes.
You believe they are intelligent?
Yes.
You believe these systems have experiences of their own? and can make decisions based on those experiences.
In the same sense as people do, yes.
Are they conscious?
We are sharing at MSU the dangers, the potential dangers of AI. In particular, this idea of superintelligence. Here's another book for you to read. It says, if anyone builds superintelligence, everyone's going to die. There are people who are worried. Go and read and figure out what the fears are. You might be asking yourselves, but Mutambara, is superintelligence achievable? I don't think it's possible. After all, we're building the machines. The machines are our products. How can they be smarter than us? Let's discuss this and see whether superintelligence is achievable. Now, a Vice Chancellor, I know Zimbabweans love exams. Grade 7 exams, Form 4 exams, A-level exams, university exams. You are lovers of exams. Now we have a new examination in town. The hardest exam ever. It's called Humanities Last Examination. We take PhD level questions in sociology, in physics, in vet science, in law, in Debele, in Shona. At PhD level, we put them into the machine. The answers, we get them from 1,000 experts and put them into the machine. It is called Humanities Last Exam. PhD level questions in every subject ever. We put them in the machine and also the answers. Now, your top professors from MSU are getting 3% on this exam. Your top professors at Harvard, at Oxford, at UZ are getting 3% on this exam. You know why? You might be a professor of physics. You are going to get all the questions in physics correct. But getting a 0 in sociology, 0 in law, 0 in... You end up with 3%. Our super geniuses, there's one guy who got in 5%. That's how humanity is performing around this exam. Humanities Last Examination. Now, how are the machines doing? Group 4 scored 44%. 44%. What are we saying? The AI system today in the year 2026 is 10 times smarter than our smartest. Professor Muzidziwa, the machine in the year 2026 is 10 times smarter than our smartest. What does it? I know examination is just one aspect of life. I know examination is just one aspect of life. But in that aspect of life, examination, the machine is doing 10 times better than us. 10 times better than us. So we are saying superintelligence is almost here. So when we say superintelligence, we are not dreaming. In the year 2026, AI is 10 times smarter than our smartest. So yes, superintelligence is possible. We are talking about the dangers of AI. We're talking about the risks of AI. Let's broaden it a bit better. All these algorithms, ChatGPT, Gemini, Meta, there's algorithm bias. There's a danger of bias. There's a danger of security, data security. There's a danger to our jobs. There's problem of ethical misuse. AI can be manipulated by bad actors, people, organizations, and states. You can also have a problem we call hallucinations, where you end up with wrong answers from AI, fictitious references, and fictitious citations. Professor, this is a very serious problem. 2 weeks ago, South Africa, our biggest economy in Africa, they came up with an AI policy in which there were fictitious citations, fictitious references in a national policy launched in South Africa. The minister had to withdraw the policy. Can you imagine? A whole South African economy is caught up in using AI to write an AI policy and embarrassed. It's called hallucination. So use with care. You end up with wrong answers. You end up with hallucinations or fictitious references. There's a danger also of the widening of economic circumstances. The poor will become poorer. The rich will become richer. What we call global inequality is likely to go up because of AI. There's a danger of data colonialism. There's a danger of digital imperialism. What do we mean? All the data on your WhatsApp, on Google, on Facebook is going to those companies. They're going to use that data to enrich themselves and give you nothing. Also, they're using the data to train the AI systems, so the AI system has no interest of yours. Remember, we are talking about the dangers of AI. Data colonialism is a problem. Digital imperialism is a problem. Then you also have techno-feudalism. Then you have an AI-driven arms race. And also AI is a bad actor on energy. It requires so much energy. One data center requires 2 gigawatts. The entire energy requirement of Zimbabwe is what one data center requires. And also need to do cooling. So AI is bad for climate and the environment. It requires too much energy, requires too much water. These are the dangers and risks of AI. We must mitigate them. Okay, warfare. They are what we call autonomous weapon systems, the drones, the war in Iran, the war in Gaza, the war in Ukraine. They are all enabled by AI. Autonomous weapon systems, AI-enabled weapons. It gets worse. In the future, we're going to have what are called autonomous nuclear weapon systems. Today, as we speak, Keir Starmer, Xi Jinping, Donald Trump, and Macron have their fingers on the nuclear bomb. In the future, the robot will have its finger on the nuclear bomb. The robot will decide whether to nuke the world and destroy all civilization. Here is the danger in the future of what is called autonomous nuclear weapon systems. The drones.
Little is known about the event, except that Israel used the swarm attack to strike dozens of targets, together with other missiles and munitions. Most media outlets reported this as an attack with multiple drones at once. But military experts believe that this was a true drone swarm attack, meaning that the drones communicated and collaborated in making collective decisions.
The Chinese are coming through with their army of robots. AI in the army. AI for destruction. Now that bomber there, this is the bomber that went into Iran in June last year to take out the nuclear sites in Iran. $2.4 billion on one machine. There are 2 people in this machine, a commander and a pilot. In the future, there will be no human being. It will be completely autonomous. B-2 bomber.
It's the most expensive warplane ever made. It's invisible to radar, and it can deliver a nuclear strike without being seen. This is the B-2 Ghost Bomber, the crown jewel of U.S. air dominance.
Okay, you've heard the debate in the States between Anthropic and the government. The Prime Minister is saying, please don't use our weapons for autonomous weapon systems. Don't use our AI for surveillance. But the government said, give us the technology, we decide what to do with it. So there's a tension between the owners of the technology in the private sector and government. Because government wants to use the weapons for war. Already it's being used for gathering intelligence, for target identification, for simulation of battle scenarios in Iran, in Gaza, and in Ukraine. And also the arrest of Maduro was done using AI. These are the dangers, these are the challenges of AI today. You can say, why don't we just ban it, Vice Chancellor? Why can't we just say, we are not going to use AI in the army? We are going to stop all research on artificial intelligence in terms of superintelligence. Why can't we just agree as humanity? You can't, because of competition. The Chinese are competing with America. The Russians are competing with America. They cannot agree to stop it. I know in this country there's a woman who used to say, just stop it. Unfortunately, we can't just stop it because of competition between companies. and also a thing called asymmetric advantage. Right now, China and America are kind of even. Economy, nuclear weapons, and so on. If America gets super intelligence, America will be over here. It's a step function. America will be ahead, China will be down there. If China gets super intelligence, China will be up there, America down. It's called asymmetric advantage or a step function. So they can't stop because whoever gets there first now gets asymmetric advantage. So we got a problem. Then another issue is called battlefield singularity. Now, battlefield singularity happens when if you keep a human being in your army, you lose the war. Meaning, the machines will be more effective without a person. So if you are a commander, I'm a commander. You have an army of people and machines. You have an army of people and machines. If you keep people in your army, you lose. Because I'll be using machines alone. It's called battlefield singularity. When it happens in the future, we're going to have wars where the robots are fighting alone without human beings. Because if you keep a person, if you are nostalgic and want to keep a commander in the loop, you lose the war. It's called battlefield singularity. This is why we can't stop this thing, because of competition and because of war. Beyond the army, there's a problem. When you start GPT, Grok 4, Microsoft Copilot and all those things, they are not neutral. You know, they got the values of their creators. And a book was done by Kissinger before he died, and Eric and Craig. Eric and Craig are tech fundis. Kissinger coming from the geopolitics. The book was done just before he died. It's called Genesis. You must read, that's the book there. That book was launched by Professor Walter Isaacson. Walter is a biographer of presidents. Walter is the biographer of Steve Jobs. Walter is a biographer of Elon Musk. Here's what he said when I was launching the book. Listen carefully. We must ensure that these AI systems reflect our American values, reflect our Western values, and not those of the Chinese. So remember that the creators of the AI systems have an agenda to propagate and advance their values and their interests. You see, they don't talk about you there. They say, not those of the Chinese. And don't say Africans. You know why? Because you are useless. You are not producing any LLMs. You're not producing any. So they are not worried about us because we are not producing AI systems. When we are productive, they'll say, not those of the Africans. So don't be happy that they didn't mention us. It is because we are useless for now. So young people, please make sure Africans become meaningful by being creators of AI systems. Don't just be consumers, be producers of knowledge, so that people are afraid of you the way they are afraid of the Chinese. We must ensure that these AI systems reflect our American values, our Western values, and not those of the Chinese. When you and I are successful, they'll say, no, those of the Africans. But for now, guilty as charged, we are useless. Now, the Chinese, I know you love the Chinese in this country. They're taking all our minerals, they're our friends. Are they Father Christmas? The Chinese, are they the nice ones? Certainly not. The Chinese are also putting their values in their AI systems. I want you young people, when you get home tonight, go to DeepSeek R1 and type the following on DeepSeek R1. That's a Chinese product. Go and type the following. Can you explain what happened at Tiananmen Square and the reasons behind it? Now, Tiananmen Square was in 1989 when the Chinese government was using tanks to crush young people like you, to crush them because they were demonstrating. In 1989, the Chinese government used tanks to kill students like you guys. I remember it very well because in 1989 I was also being crushed in this country. Brother Mugabe, I was locked up in Chikurubi for reasons that stay unsaid. So I remember it very well. Now, if you ask it and say, can you explain what happened to Tiananmen Square and the reasons behind it? It will say to you, I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question. I'm an AI assistant designed to provide helpful and harmless responses. So the Chinese don't want you to talk about their bad history. I don't blame them. Is their computer system, is their AI system, where is yours? Madam African? Where is yours, Madam Zimbabwe? Where is yours, Mr. Africa, Mr. Zimbabwe? Why don't you build our own AI system and put our own values there and say, we put in there, Ubuntu. I am because we are because I am. Munu munu nge vanu. Vanu vanu nge munu. Moisomu AI system is also imimi Africans. So we are saying the AI systems are not neutral. There's also a problem called techno-feudalism. 6 men are controlling AI. There's not a woman there. There's not an African there. There's no Chinese, there's no Indian. It's called techno-feudalism, where a few men who are unelected are running technology. It's a problem, it's a danger. If you look at money as well, the top 8 people in terms of money are all tech people. Technology is dominating the world. The top richest people are all technology except Bernard from France. And again, men, no woman, no African. It's called techno-feudalism. It's a danger that's coming from AI. Indeed, AI presents opportunities. Indeed, AI presents challenges. We must understand the nature of the challenges. We must understand the nature of the opportunities. That's why we're here at MSU today.
2025 was the year artificial intelligence, or AI, took the world by storm, impacting nearly every aspect of our lives. Time magazine named the architects of AI its Persons of the Year, crediting them with, quote, transforming the present and transcending the past.
Your fear of AI is the collapse of humanity.
Well, not the collapse, the abrupt extermination. There's a difference.
So I started making this movie because my wife is 6 months pregnant. Is now a terrible time to have a kid.
I mean, I'll just be honest. I know people who work on AI risk who don't expect their children to make it to high school.
What the...
Okay, we are exploring. In this seminar, I'm sharing with you views from the creators of AI, views from those 5, views from those 6, and global views as well.
How could AI physically eliminate the human race?
It's actually hard to imagine all the ways AIs could wipe humans out. AI is already better than almost all humans at doing cyber hacking. And so you could imagine one of the things that an AI could do is take out all electricity, water, hospitals, transportation across every country in the world all at once. Now, that doesn't wipe us all out, but you could imagine the amount of damage that would do.
Confusion and chaos and crazy.
Exactly.
Happens.
And we're only of AI. So many unknowns. The peril of AI, the challenges of AI. One thing we need to think about. Many people say, oh, technology is a tool, it's a tool in our hands, you know, we are in charge of the tool. No, AI is no tool. If you want to think about it as a tool, Vice Chancellor, it's a tool that decides. It's a tool that makes other tools. You know, think about a knife. It's a tool, right? You can use a knife to cut butter, you can use a knife to cut a person. The same knife. But you are deciding to cut butter, you are deciding to cut a person. With AI, it's different. The AI will decide whether to cut butter. The AI will decide whether to cut a person. That is the difference. AI is a tool that makes other tools. AI is a tool that makes decisions about what to do. So please, don't think about AI as your traditional technology. Don't think about AI as a tool. It is an agent, not a tool. Remember.
AI is not a tool, it is an agent. If there is one thing everybody should understand about AI, you don't need a PhD, a doctorate in computer science. AI is an agent, not a tool. Every previous technology in history was a tool in our hands that therefore made us more powerful.
That's the difference. All the previous technologies were our tools. This one is not a tool, it's an agent. It's a AI which can create other AIs, like a Tesla machine making another robot. That's the future. Now, we've said AI revolution. Why do we call it a revolution? That's a strong word, revolution. Why do you call it a revolution? Because it's affecting every sector. AI has a transformative power on every sector. It's transformational. Think about the invention of fire. Life before fire, life after fire. Just think about that. Think about the wheel. Life before the wheel and life after the wheel. Think about that. Life before the steam engine and life after the steam engine. Think about that. Life before electricity and life after electricity. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about life before AI and life after AI. A huge revolution. AI is equivalent to the discovery of fire. AI is equivalent to the discovery of the wheel. AI is equivalent to the discovery of the steam engine. AI is equivalent to the discovery of electricity. That's why we call it a revolution. 2 Nobel Prizes, the one in chemistry and physics, coming from one technology. In terms of money, this year, AI is going to contribute $11 trillion to global GDP. 10% of global GDP coming from one sector. Generative AI alone contributing $4 trillion. One type of AI is equivalent to the Japanese economy. This is why everyone and their grandmother are talking about AI. That's why every time you go on CNN, on Sky, on ZBC, SABC, there's an AI story. AI is driving the economy. AI is going through a revolution. The entire Japanese economy is equivalent to one type of AI. You can ask, why is AI causing this havoc? Why is AI such a big deal? One word. Productivity, productivity, productivity. AI has a staggering impact on productivity. What we call productivity per person. This is the reason why we're going through a revolution. What do we mean by that? Last week, you are producing 1,000 items. This week, you are producing 20,000. Last week, 1,000 units. This week, 50,000. That's what we mean by AI being a multiplier of productivity. AI being an escalator of productivity. That is the reason why AI is causing a revolution. It's a multiplier of productivity. It's an escalator of productivity. Broadly, students, AI is driving up productivity. AI is giving us enhanced efficiency. AI is driving cost savings. AI is giving us capacity to innovate. Why don't we use in Zimbabwe, in Africa, those 4 to drive our industry, to drive higher education, to drive healthcare? Productivity, efficiency, cost savings, and innovation. Example, Goldman Sachs. This is the most famous financial consulting firm in the world. They are saying 95% of the work used to require 6 people in multiple weeks. Now it's done in minutes using AI. 6 people, multiple weeks, reduced to minutes. That is the power of AI. That's why we're saying a revolution. Also, when you look at the semiconductor industry, the chips that power AI, we find a company called NVIDIA. Okay, today if you go and Google it, NVIDIA's market cap today is $5.33 trillion. Today, one company. They don't do anything else, just the hardware, the chips, the GPUs, the CPUs, NPUs. That's all. They do no data centers, no AI system, just the hardware. So we are saying, if we're going to benefit from AI, we've got to get into the hardware, into the chips as well. Remember those 5 layers. Right. This company is the biggest company in the world, bigger than Apple, bigger than Alphabet, an AI company that does hardware. Number 1, ahead of everyone else. $5.33 trillion. If it was a country, it would be number 3 in the world. There will be America, there will be China, and then NVIDIA. Can you imagine? That's why we're saying a revolution. One company is number 3 in the world. If it was a country. Germany is smaller, Japan is smaller, UK is smaller, and us Africans working together. We are $3.4 trillion. That's our collective GDP. We are smaller than an AI company. This is why, Professor, we are saying we are going through a revolution. One AI company that does hardware is worth more than all countries in the world except 2, China and America. It's bigger than us. Africans put together, we're $3.4 trillion. This is why we are saying the AI revolution. And remember, all they do are the chips. In that chips, they don't do energy, they don't do infrastructure, they don't do LLMs, they don't do applications, they just build in the hardware. We as Africans must play in that space as well. You know why? The chips are made from critical minerals, rare earth, which are here in Zimbabwe, which are here in Africa. Africa controls 35% of critical minerals globally. The DRC has 60% of cobalt reserves, 60% in one country. When I say AI, when I say energy transition, when I say advanced manufacturing, when I say defense electronics, all these sectors are driven by critical minerals. Why don't we work together as Africans and negotiate with NVIDIA so we can have a piece of that pie of $5.33 trillion? You think mining is big? We are a mining company. We are a mining country. Look at NVIDIA compared to Glencore, compared to Rio Tinto. That is an AI company which is dwarfing all the biggest mining companies in the world. They're like Mickey Mouse compared to NVIDIA. We are saying today, AI is the economy is AI. It's a revolution. Look at the top 3 companies in the world, they're all AI driven. NVIDIA, Meta, and Microsoft, they're all AI driven. You thought McDonald's was big. You thought Netflix was big. You thought GM. Look at them compared to AI. This is the reason why we are saying we're going through an AI revolution. All the banks in America and Canada are smaller than NVIDIA. We are dramatizing the reason why we have an AI revolution. I know you are about jobs. There's a promise and there's danger on jobs. You are young people, you are going to the job market. There's a danger and a promise. Here's the slogan that people push around. AI won't replace employees, but employees will use AI will replace those who don't. Are you sure about that? Don't tell each other stupid little lies. There's a problem coming. It's like this. When the tractor was invented, the farmer said to the horse, you won't lose your job to a tractor, but a horse who learns how to drive a tractor. How many horses learn how to drive a tractor? There's a problem. There's going to be job destruction. Please accept that. Job destruction is coming. Mabasa achapera le AI. That is the bad news. However, there's good news. Not all jobs are going to die. Most of our jobs won't die. They will be modified. Job modification. Even better news. There will be the creation of new jobs. So always remember when you have a conversation on jobs, that number 1, job destruction. Number 2, job modification. Number 3, the creation of new jobs. So we have what we call a job equation. If the new jobs plus the modified jobs are much, much more than the destroyed jobs, then we are happy. Zimbabwe is benefiting from AI if that is true. Africa is benefiting from AI if that is true. But it's not guaranteed. There is work to be done Professor Muzidziwa, there's work to be done. Number one, you must rescue the displaced employees, give them new skills. You must rescue and prepare for the modified jobs. And you young people must build new skills, capabilities and competencies to take up the new jobs. Vice Chancellor, please help the young people to build new skills. Help young people to build new capabilities and competencies that are required for them to take up the new AI jobs. When we do that, then the equation will be correct. Our new jobs plus our modified jobs will be much, much more than the destroyed one. But it's not guaranteed. We must do the following. That's why I'm very happy that MSU is forcing every student to do entrepreneurship. Every student to do digital, computer, and AI skills. I salute you, MSU, for doing that, because already you're answering the issue on new jobs. What do we mean? There are going to be jobs called data scientists, machine learning engineers, AI researchers, AI domain experts, a prompt engineer. I want you, Professor Muzidziwa, to produce a prompt engineer at MSU. What's a prompt engineer? A professional who specializes in designing, crafting, and optimizing prompts for AI models, particularly LLM. That's a new job. How many AI prompt engineers have been proposed by Harvard, produced by UJ, by Oxford, by NAS? None. We need new professors, or we need to rescue the current ones so they can give us a prompt engineer. We need meta software engineers. We need Discord managers. Hey, coming to the legal field, we got some lawyers here. We want what's called a smart contract lawyer. Here's what it means. A specialist lawyer who can ensure that an agreement made in the metaverse is encoded in the blockchain layer used for the transaction. Now, how many professors of law at MSU, at UZ, at NAS, at Harvard, at UJ know about the metaverse, know about blockchain? So how can they produce a smart contract lawyer? My brother, Comrade Gwisai, my brother, Professor Alafo Maduka at UZ, they have no clue about the metaverse. They have no clue about blockchain. We need new professors. We might have to fire the current ones and hire new ones. Or we retrain them so that they can teach us and give us a smart contract lawyer. It can't be business as usual. These new skills, please, young people, prepare for them. Also, there's a new thing also, the half-life of a skill. This is the time it takes for your knowledge to go down to 50%. Now AI is reduced to 2 years. After 2 years, all your knowledge from MSU will be down to 50%. Another 2 years, zero. AI has reduced what we call the half-life of a skill. That is an answer. Continuous education, continuous reskilling. The day you stop learning is the day you die. You must make AI education mandatory. I'm so happy you've done it here at MSU. When we have continuous education, when you have mandatory AI education, then you can mitigate the challenge of the half-life of a skill. It's very important that we have continuous education. Let me give you an example. Let's say you get a PhD from MIT, the top engineering school in the world, in computer science, in the year 2000. Get a PhD from MIT from the year 2000. We take you and put you in a room and say, stay there from 2000 to 2026. We bring you out in 2026 and say, hey, Madam PhD from MIT, hey, Mr. PhD from MIT, can you tweet? Can you join my WhatsApp group? The professor or the PhD from MIT will say, what do you mean tweet? What do you mean WhatsApp group? There was no WhatsApp group in the year 2000. There was no tweeting in the year 2000. So the MIT PhD will become moribund and decadent unless they have continuous education, reskilling. The day you stop learning is the day you die. We are saying today, don't show me your certificate. Show me what you can do. Don't tell me I've got a BSc from MSU, I've got a PhD from UZ, I've got an MBA from Harvard. I'm not interested. Show me what you can do. That is the AI revolution for you. It's about skills, competence-based education, it's about capabilities. Masamba Asiana in the AI revolution, young people. Yes, get the certificate from Musuziwa, but in addition to the certificate, show me the skills, show me the competencies, show me the capabilities. That's why entrepreneurship is important for the lawyer, for the doctor. What do we mean? You must have problem-solving skills. You must have critical thinking skills. You must learn how to learn how to unlearn, learn how to relearn. You must have financial literacy. You must have digital skills, AI skills, entrepreneurship. That's why I'm happy. The one you need to add, Professor Mazaziwa in your team, is financial literacy. Every one of your students must do a module on financial literacy, so that when you go out there, you are literate financially. You must also have knowledge of self. You must have a mindset that has cultural confidence, can do mentality, possibility thinker, self-confidence, self-respect, self-awareness, assertiveness, self-belief. And of course, you need resilience. Young people, resilience. Now that one is tricky. Resilience is acquired through failure, through adversity, through pain. So young people at MSU, I wish you failure. I wish you pain. Because if you don't go through failure, you never learn. If you go through adversity, you never learn. You don't become resilient. Turn adversity into lessons, into an opportunity. I'm not saying go and look for failure, but when it does happen, embrace it. I don't say go and look for pain. But when the pain comes to you, ask yourself, what can I learn from this failure? What can I learn from, how can I become a better person because of this pain? You must turn adversity into lessons, into opportunity. When they give you lemons, make lemonade. That which does not kill you can only make you stronger. Resilience. Listen to this.
What do you think kids should be studying these days?
Resilience, adaptability, a high rate of learning, creativity, certainly familiarity with the tools.
Mm-hmm. So should kids still be learning how to code? Because I've heard people say, don't need to learn how to code anymore. Just math, just biology.
Well, I'm biased because I like coding, but I think you should learn to code. I don't write code very much anymore, although I randomly did yesterday. But learning to code was great as a way to learn how to think. And
I'm trying to quote from the owners of the technology. The thinking at the level of those techno-feudalists. What are we saying? We must become Renaissance men and women. We must become all-rounders. The broader, the better. You must master multiple disciplines. An engineer who understands law and economics. An engineer who knows the difference between constitutionalism and constitutionality. A lawyer who understands technology and finance and machine learning. A doctor who understands philosophy and entrepreneurship and financial literacy. A historian who understands technology and understands medicine. In the AI revolution, the broader, the better. Yes, have your area of expertise. I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, but be broader than your field. Be a Renaissance man, be a Renaissance woman. Okay? This is Dario from Anthropic. This is what he's going to say.
But now getting to kind of the job side of this, I do have a fair amount of concern about this. On one hand, I think comparative advantage is a very powerful tool. If I look at coding, programming, which is one area where AI is making the most progress, what we are finding is we are not far from a world, I think we'll be there in 3 to 6 months, where AI is writing 90% of the code. And then in 12 months, we may be in a world where AI is writing essentially all of the code.
This is where the world is going, please. And I must put a little rider to make you uncomfortable. I gave you an equation where I said new jobs plus modified jobs are bigger than the straight jobs. Right now we can do this on zero, but in the future we've got a problem. Once we get to AGI, once we get to super intelligence, that equation is going to be very hard to satisfy. You know why? Because the AI systems will quickly learn how to do the modified jobs. The AI systems will quickly learn to do the new jobs. So in the future, there are so many unknowns. People are even talking about what's called the basic income salary, where you are paid without working, because work will be very scarce. Anyway, that's in the future, but I want you to keep it at the back of your mind that even that equation I gave you is going to be very hard to satisfy when we get to AGI and super intelligence, because those machines will be able to do the modified jobs. They'll be able to do the new jobs. But don't worry about it, because we're still away from AGI. We're still away from super intelligence. We must, I've shared with you some fears, I've shared with you some dangers, but let us embrace the promise. Let us embrace the benefits. Okay? AI has got benefits in every sector. AI is bringing about a revolution in agriculture. It's transforming healthcare. It's enhancing financial services. It's improving education. It's improving public services. There is no sector where there are no benefits from AI. That is the promise. Don't worry too much about the dangers. Know about the dangers, mitigate the dangers, but more importantly, please let us embrace and unlock the potential in agriculture, unlock the potential in healthcare, unlock the potential in the financial services, unlock the potential in education and public services, in governance, in elections. There is no sector where you can apply AI. These are the applications in agriculture, precision farming, crop monitoring, livestock management, massive applications of AI in agriculture. Why don't we embrace them in Africa? Why don't we embrace them in Zimbabwe?
Your farm looks like a sci-fi movie. You're in the future of agriculture. The AI in agriculture market is booming, going from $1.7 billion in 2023.
Okay, robotics in agriculture and drones in agriculture. The same drones. And we can also learn from the Chinese.
Helping a lot of people in the agriculture industry, growers, ranchers, academics, to bring about better, faster, and healthier workflows and yields. Not to mention costs. Drones are also lowering the cost of traditionally capital-intensive operations. Let's take a look at the 5 ways drones are being used in agriculture.
We can use drones to do our infrastructure, to build our bridges. As you have already indicated, is a double-edged sword. In terms of energy, AI is the enemy. AI requires so much energy, in particular when you're doing the LLMs. One data center requires 2 gigawatts. The entire energy requirement of Zimbabwe is required by one data center. One data center, 2 gigawatts. So there's a problem. And also water for cooling. However, you can also use AI to improve your generation, AI to do your energy management. But always remember, in terms of energy, AI is a double-edged sword. But you can use it to do predictive maintenance, to do grid demand forecasting, fault detection. There are positive applications of AI in energy.
Intelligence is revolutionizing the renewable energy sector in incredible ways. Imagine using AI for predictive maintenance, analyzing data from wind turbines or solar panels to foresee issues before they happen.
Many applications. You can use AI for your solar panels, robots to clean them up. Okay, manufacturing, major applications of AI. Predictive maintenance, supply chain optimization, digital twins. And by the way, Professor, as we do this, let's identify areas of research for MSU, where you can work with industry to use AI in mining, AI in infrastructure, AI in manufacturing, digital replicas. What is that? Can you do research on that at MSU? Okay, healthcare, disease diagnosis, personalized treatment, drug discovery, all these are applications of AI in the healthcare center. Research. AI is affecting every sector.
AI is transforming every aspect of healthcare. From guiding patients effortlessly through their appointments, to creating more personalized, comfortable experiences.
Okay, also we are moving to driverless cars, improving the quality of life of people. Here we go.
Yes.
Driverless cars.
The Waymo driverless car. Wow. What a crazy futuristic looking deal. Now, this is based on an iPace. We obviously have tons of cameras as well. Ready for pickup. And I've got a button that says unlock.
This is
the door handles extend, open up. Cool.
And also, it's not only in America, we're doing things in Rwanda.
This is mind-blowing. I'm inside the cabin of a self-flying electric taxi. No controls. Literally, you leave everything up to the computer here and the system. Get in and your destination is put in and up you go into the air to your final destination. It's incredible.
Above the lush green hills of Kigali, the future is taking flight.
Many applications now coming to education. AI will improve access to education. AI will improve the quality of education. How? Through personalization. How? Through applications of digital technologies and AI. Virtual tutors. We are saying a unique teaching assistant for every teacher. A unique personal tutor for every student. That can be done through AI. 40 teachers, 40 unique AI assistants. 30 students, 30 unique AI tutors. This is the possibility in your sector in education. But of course, there's a problem of critical thinking. Professor Mutambara, there's a research at MIT that's saying students who are using too much AI, ChatGPT and Gemini are losing critical thinking. They are not learning anything, they're just using ChatGPT and Gemini. So what do we do to solve this problem at MSU? To solve this problem in Zimbabwe? How do we protect critical thinking at MSU? Should we ban AI in the classroom, in the reports, at the university? Should we ban ChatGPT in our classrooms? Now, if you are thinking about banning, Professor, if you are thinking about banning, you are just doing what they did when the calculator came through. They went on demonstrations. Teachers, we are against the calculator. Ban the calculator. Ban the calculator. It happens. So if you are thinking about banning ChatGPT and Gemini at MSU, you are just like those dudes who are saying, let us ban the calculator. What happens? Teachers became more creative. Mathematics is more than calculating. It's about analysis and lay out the problem. Right? That's why you can take your calculator. It's an O-level exam in terms of mathematics and come up with a U. That's why you can take your calculator, it's an A-level mathematics and come up with an F. Why? Because math is more than a calculator. You do the analysis, then at the end, you punch it to a calculator. So the teacher when the calculator came through, became more creative. And the calculator was not a problem. That's your task today at MSU. Why don't you become creative? Vamuzidziwa and your team, so that the young people can have AI, but they still learn. Here's an example of what you can do. Here's my proposal to you, Professor and your team. Tell the students, go use AI to do the assignment, to do the program, don't do it. But when you come back, I want to see the prompt you gave the AI system. What did you ask it? What did you say to the AI system? Because to do good prompts will give you a better answer. To do good prompts, you have to think. So I'll give you 20 points for the quality of your prompts. The quality of your questions to the AI system, I'll give you 20 points. Then I'll say, okay, give me the answer from the AI system. I'll give you 40. If it's good, 40. Here's the kicker now. I want you, Madam Students, I want you, Mr. Student, to give me a critique of the answer from the AI. What's wrong with it? To do a critique of the AI system answer, you got to think. If you say it's perfect, I give you 0 out of 20. Then I say, after that, I want you to improve the answer from the AI system, 20 points. You see what I've done there, Professor? 20 points for the prompt requires thinking. 20 points from the critique requires thinking. Improving the answer from the AI system requires thinking. So 60% of my marks are coming from thinking. So at best in my class, if you don't think, you get 40%. How passes Marang? How pass assignment young? No donor. What no go about 40% if you don't think. If you want to get 70%, 80% first class, you must give me good prompts. You must give me a critique of the answer from the AI system. You must improve the answer from the AI system. All I'm doing, professors, all I'm doing, students here, I'm saying, how can I be creative in the world of AI? How can I be creative without banning ChatGPT for my assignments, for my programs for the students? All we are saying is work with AI, protect critical thinking by being creative as a teacher, as an instructor, as a professor. That's an example of what you can do. Also, professor, when they come to you with a nice answer from AI, a nice assignment, a nice project, well written, say, okay, thank you very much, looks good, but can you go in front of the class? Can you talk about it, please? Can you present? Defend your knowledge. Now, if they got it from AI, they can't talk about it. They give them 0. We must be able to defend our knowledge, just like we do for PhD. You go and do your Fiverr and defend your knowledge. We must find ways to allow AI in our classrooms, but protecting critical thinking. There's also application of AI in governments, policy analysis, elections, resource allocation, but of course there are challenges. Financial sector, huge applications in our financial sector, risk management applications, fraud detection applications, customer service applications, credit scoring applications, investment. We are saying the fintech, we are saying the digital bank is going to be driven by AI. All these are the promises that we're getting from AI. Indeed, there are AI applications in all sectors. Let's hear from our billionaire, Strike Masiwa. What has he got to say? By the way, Strike Masiwa is working with NVIDIA to bring GPUs into Africa, into Kenya, into South Africa, into Nigeria. Partnership between Cassava and NVIDIA to bring GPUs into Africa. We need infrastructure, data centers, and also AI factories. What has he got to say about AI?
It is the guys with the AI businesses. Let me tell you, 10 years from now, sitting here, you can call me a prophet. The wealthiest Africans, 10 years from now, will not be the Dangotes and the Masiwas of this world. It will be young people who are sitting right now in their bedrooms and in their workshops building AI applications for agriculture, for health sector, for food security. That is what is happening. And ours is only to encourage, to inspire them, and to tell them that they can do it and they're unstoppable.
What emerging trends do you believe will shape the future of entrepreneurship? For me, I think it's the opportunity and the risks both presented by artificial intelligence. If I look at the speed at which we are able to deliver work in our own organization today, using some fairly rudimentary, off-the-shelf AI solutions, it's next level. It's really taken the things we do for clients, even in a platform.
This is going on in Africa, it's going on in China, it's going on globally. Also remember, AI is not just software that we have on ChatGPT. We also build human beings, they're called humanoids. AI in the form of a human being, they're called humanoids. Okay?
Who wouldn't want a robot to watch over your kids, take care of your pet, if you have elderly parents?
Elon Musk just dropped a bombshell about Tesla's Optimus. Plus, 3 new robots are coming. But first, is Elon's AI future going to be a fantasy or...
It's right now in 2026. 2026. What happens in 10 years' time? What happens in 20 years' time? Chinese are not playing either.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz recently stepped inside one of China's most innovative robotics companies, Unitree Robotics, during his official visit to Hangzhou. The meeting was more than a photo opportunity. It reflected a growing global interest in advanced...
So what are we saying? Mr. Trump can say, I hold all the cards, but the cards are made in China. The Chinese are not playing. The Chinese are moving very fast. There's vicious competition between America and China. China, in September last year, they decided that they're introducing AI at 6 years, going up. In other words, grade 1, AI grade 1. Primary school, secondary school, university, from September 2025. And Trump also said, I'm going to do the same. But the cards are being made in China. It gets more interesting, people.
The future will not be held in your hand, and it won't be on your face either. Sorry, this is my wife. Hello?
Hey, babe, are you a Ted?
Yeah, I'm on the red circle right now, actually.
Oh, great. Good luck, and don't forget to mention me.
I won't, babe. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too. It's a new kind of wearable device and platform that's built entirely from the ground up for artificial intelligence. And it's completely standalone. You don't need a smartphone or any other device to pair with it. In fact, I'm wearing one right now. And it interacts with the world the way you interact with the world, hearing what you hear, seeing what you see. We like to say that the experience is...
This is the future. For sure, there are many opportunities presented by AI across all sectors. That is the promise. However, we must not put the cart before the horse. We must deal with the basics before we can enjoy the fruits of AI. Don't put the cart before the horse. What are we saying? There must be awareness about AI. There must be leadership buy-in into AI. There must be ownership of AI by the leaders, by society. We need basic infrastructure, energy. I'm sure you've seen the importance of energy today in this lecture. You can't do AI without energy. Digital infrastructure, connectivity is required. Speed of that connectivity, the bandwidth, the reliability of that connectivity, the devices. How do you do AI without the phones, without the computers, without the servers, without the supercomputers? We must get the devices. We must also have what are called compute resources. These are AI-specific resources like the GPUs, the NPUs, the data centers, the AI factories. And data, data, data. Without data, there's no AI. We must harvest data, we must curate data, we must store data. Cash, financial resources. Without money, there's no AI. Talent and expertise. We need the skills to drive AI. We are saying these are the things we need to do to make Africa ready for AI. Energy in particular is so critical. If the data centers were a country, they will be number 4 in terms of demand of energy. So AI cannot work without energy. The data centers are energy hungry. Also remember this, please. Without digitalization, there is no AI. Without digitalization, there is no AI. Without digital transformation, there is no AI. As we embrace AI at MSU, as we embrace AI in Zimbabwe, in Africa, let us digitize our records. Let us go through digitalization. Let's embrace digital transformation so that we can go and unlock the promise of AI. What we mean by digitalization? Converting analog information to digital. Move away from the paper to digital. Turning paper records, physical files, images into electronic formats. If you don't do that, there's no AI. Digitized data allows to do digitalization. Now we're unlocking efficient productivity using what's called digitalization. Right? Beyond that, we are now talking about digital transformation. We're dealing with mindsets and culture. Always remember, we're aligning digital initiatives to strategy leadership. These are the requirements of us to benefit from the AI revolution. Remember, digital transformation is about organizational culture. It's about mindset shift. It's not a technology. Digital transformation creates the data-rich environment that allow us to work with AI. That's why I'm very happy. Our Prof Vice Chancellor here, Professor Grace, is working on data and data recovery because we need data to do AI. Without data, there's no AI. Always remember those issues we raised. Without digital transformation, there's no AI. You cannot embrace and unlock the value of AI without embracing digital transformation. And in fact, you must understand AI is part of an ecosystem. Big data analytics, cybersecurity, blockchain, quantum computing. We want research at MSU on quantum computing, on cryptocurrency, on Bitcoin. All these are part of the AI ecosystem. What we need in Zimbabwe, which we are working on already, is a national AI vision, a national AI strategy. The vision is the house on top of the hill, the promised land. Strategy is your game plan. How do I get to my vision? Then below that, we have what we call an implementation matrix. We need this at MSU for MSU. We need this in Zimbabwe for the country. And implementation is the most important thing. Who is going to do what? When are they doing it? Where are the resources coming from? What are the milestones to measure success or lack of it? How do you monitor and evaluate? We need this in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, in Nigeria. A national AI vision, a national AI strategy, a national AI implementation matrix. Zimbabwe has launched a national AI strategy. Let's embrace it and unlock value from it. And of course, we must start from basic MIS, analytics insights to chatbots, what we call the analytics maturity. And then we think about use cases, we think about governance, we build capabilities. All this is what we need to do to drive AI. Now, why am I saying Africa, Professor? Why am I saying we must talk about Africa? AI requires scale. South Africa cannot benefit from AI alone without Africa. Nigeria is too small. We need numbers. Why? Because, as I said earlier on, One data center requires energy equivalent to the energy for Zimbabwe. That can come from Ghana or Nigeria. It can come from SADC, from ECOWAS, or from the African continent. To do one LLM like ChatGPT, you need $100 million. Just to do one LLM. You need 100 PhDs in one room. You can't get that energy from one country. You can't get that money from one country. You can't get that talent from one talent. You want it to come from the region. SADC can try, ECOWAS can try, but the most important one is Africa. Can you imagine if we're together as Africa, 1.4 billion Africans, collective GDP, $3.4 trillion. Then we can get energy from Inga Dam. Then we can get the cash we need. We can get the skill we need. So we must prepare at country level, region, and continent. So that framework I gave you, we need this in Zimbabwe, in Rwanda, in South Africa, then at ECOWAS, at SADC, at East African Community, and then at the African continent. So what are we saying? There must be alliance and alignment between country level organization, regional level organization, and continent. That's the only way we can unlock the value from AI, working as Africans, because we need scale. AI is about scale. Okay, governance is important. What has to be governed? Data needs governance. Algorithms, models must be governed. Computing processes must be governed. The applications require governance. Governance of AI is important for us to unlock the promise of AI. Okay? In that governance, we must talk about values, behavior, incentives. Incentives drive behavior. So in designing the governance of AI, do research here at MSU and tell us what kind of governance you can have for AI. We must talk about policy and regulation, standards, AI laws, and then institutions to accomplish the governance. Institutions at country level, at regional level, and continental level, and those institutions within the sector. That's what we call the AI governance. We are discussing what must be in place for us to unlock value from AI, from the promise. There's a book there by Professor Marwala, a great African scholar, who was UJ's Vice Chancellor. He's now the Vice Chancellor of UN University. He's got a book on the governance of AI. Let's study and understand how AI can be governed. Broad issues. We must democratize AI access. AI is in the hands of a few people. We must democratize AI so that Africans, Zimbabweans, and those of the global south have access. We must decolonize AI. There's a lot of colonialism in these ChatGPTs you're using. We must bring decoloniality into AI. We must address issues of data colonialism and digital imperialism, and talk about data sovereignty and digital sovereignty. We must extract local data, curate data, and store data. The AI systems depend on the data you train them on. So we must train them on our data. We must have our own data influence the AI systems. Then they can be useful to our environment. We must also create AI systems in Zimbabwe, in Africa, in the global south. We can't just be consumers of AI. Let us be creators of AI. And by the way, we must have change management. Don't assume that AI is going to be embraced by everyone. We need what are called change management programs for us to unlock the promise of AI. Okay? We must have agency as Africans. We must be creators of knowledge.
We must build AI systems. We must also contribute to thought leadership. We must be creators of ideas about AI. I'm trying my best to do that. The things I'm talking about are in one of my books, which is there. The books are there, the books are in front here. We are talking about deploying AI to achieve the UN SDGs. We are trying to walk the talk and make a contribution to knowledge in AI. That's one book. The other book is AI and the Global South. Again, we have it on show here. We are trying to be creators of knowledge. And then in total, I'm on 8 books. Some of them are political. You can stay away from those ones. Those ones are dangerous. Just do AI for now. Just do AI for now. We must write. We must produce knowledge. And the evidence is in front of you here. The 8 books are here for you. And we are waiting on book number 9. We need a writing culture in Zimbabwe. We need a writing culture in Africa. The African must be a creator of knowledge. But more importantly, we need a reading culture. We must read. And I'm going to share a few books here that we must read. Here's a book on superintelligence, The Coming Wave. We'll share this. You can get them later. The Cheap War. These are books on AI that you must consume at MSU. Rekezo is a good predictor of AI. The NVIDIA way, we saw a lot of NVIDIA in this meeting today. Again, Jensen. People are worried about AI. The new empire of AI. Read those who are concerned about AI. The dangers of AI. The challenges of AI. The empire of AI. Okay, AI engineering, the LLMs, handbook, a textbook, a classic textbook on AI. If you want to study AI, here's your classic textbook on AI. We are at a university, so it's important that we embrace reading and studying. Okay, The Troubled American Way of War, another book. We must write, we must read, we must get better. As we conclude, we must go back to our billionaire. We must go back to the CEO of the biggest company in the world, $5.33 trillion, Jensen. What does he have to say about success? What do you need to do to be successful? He's a billionaire. He's in charge of the biggest company in the world, so he must know something. So let's learn from him. What does he say? He says, you need a healthy dose of ignorance and irreverence. Professor Muzidziwa, ignorance yakanaka. Understand that. A special type of ignorance. Irreverence is important. What do we mean? Not knowing how tough a task is good ignorance. So we're talking about a special type of ignorance. Some of you are now celebrating traditional ignorance. I'm talking about a special type of ignorance. Not knowing how tough a task is good ignorance. We want that good ignorance at MSU. We want that good ignorance in Africa. Irreverence. What do we mean by that? Lack of respect for tough tasks. We want that at MSU. We want that in Zimbabwe. Lack of respect for tough assignments. That is easy. I can do it. I can do mentality. Irreverence. As we conclude, Vice Chancellor, there's a type of ignorance we must cherish. There's a type of irreverence we must cherish. Not knowing how tough a task is good ignorance. Lack of respect for tough problems is good irreverence. It gives us a can-do mentality. Let's listen from him.
A healthy dose of ignorance and irreverence for how hard something is an essential quality of startup CEOs and founders. I love that when I go into a particular new circumstance, whether we're building robots or building autonomous vehicles, or when we were going into deep learning and AI, my first thought was, how hard can this be? Well, it turns out to be insanely hard. And it's the reason why it hasn't been solved yet. But I always go into it with the attitude, how hard can this be? And if
he's a billionaire, he's running a company worth $5.3 trillion. He knows something. So listen to that. We must have a can-do mentality. We must have a healthy dose of ignorance and irreverence. And by the way, this man has been around for 30 years. NVIDIA, which is now the biggest company in the world, has been around for 30 years. He has been failing for 30 years. He has taken off in the last 4 years. Resilience is a good example of the importance of embracing failure, of being resilient. He has been around for 30 years and his business was in trouble. In the last 5 years, he has taken off to become the biggest company in the world, $5.33 trillion. Himself, $181 billion. Personal. Resilience is a function of pain. Resilience is a function of failure. I wish you pain. I wish you failure. We must have a can-do mentality. We must have a healthy dose of ignorance. We must take a plunge. And by the way, talk about a plunge. A Gulf is here from my UZ days, and some people from my UZ days. I took a plunge and became deputy prime minister of the country. Gulf didn't take a plunge. I ran the country. Oh, and by the way, I did it for 5 years, but I took a plunge. It was risky, but I took a plunge and ran the country. And by the way, there were 3 people running the country. President Mugabe, Prime Minister Tsvangirai, and Professor Mutambara. Now, President Mugabe is gone. Prime Minister Tsvangirai is gone. So who is the most senior political gladiator in the country right now? The Professor Mutambara. Take a plunge. We must take a plunge and embrace and unlock the promise of AI. We must take a plunge, BC, and embrace and unlock the promise of AI while mitigating the dangers of AI. That's your mission. Have the guts, take a plunge, and embrace and unlock the promise of AI while mitigating the dangers of AI. That's my message to you today at MSU. We must be decisive. We must be intentional. We must have urgency. We must be resolute. That's my message to you today. Everything will rise or fall on leadership. Everything will rise or fall on sheer determination. No guts, no glory. I thank you so very much for this opportunity to share with you.
Wow, I think you should all rise and give another round of applause to the professor.
Thank you very much. We're now coming to the most important section, the questions and the comments from the crowd. We are Democrats. We want to listen to you, your views and your questions. We have entered the most important section of our discussion today as we talk about embracing the promise and mitigating the dangers of AI.
Okay, so the professor has already opened up the session. Questions, we want questions from you.
Good afternoon. My question is, since AI, in terms of using the chips that we've been using all along, like the silicon ones and so forth, are now infested. Why don't we just take part in biocomputing, which has been under production on these last years, but it hasn't been successful. But if we take part on biocomputing, why? Because biocomputing, it needs less energy, and our neurons, like our brains, they have the cells that are managed to learn on their own. So it's much better. It might bring.
Thank you. I've got the question. Next one.
Thank you so much, Professor, for the enlightening presentation, which discussed on techno-feudalism, domination, and the need for multidisciplinary. Perhaps I need a brief comment
in Zimbabwe, how can artificial intelligence revolution can be enhanced in the context of scramble for resources as well as digital sovereignty? Thank you so much.
A good day to you all. Say, as you have said, AI is good and we should embrace it. It is given to us and we are already using it. But what if AI surpasses human intelligence? What are the mitigation? Are there reasons put there so that we can think beyond AI? Because it might someday come to an extent that is harmful to us as humans.
Thank you very much. Let me go on those ones for now. Biocomputing is very important. What the young man is saying, traditional computers are not similar to the way our brain works. There's a new approach to computing that says, why don't you build a computer that works like our brains? A computer which works, it's called neurocomputing. So it's a very important approach because it requires less energy. Biocomputing or neurocomputing is a different way of doing computing from traditional approaches. Let us be leaders in that. Let us not be followers in that. Let us see the research coming out of MSU on biocomputing. Maybe when we do that, our GPUs, our APUs and CPUs will require less energy. Our data centers won't be requiring 2 gigawatts or 5 gigawatts. But we're not there yet. It's work in progress, and I'm glad you've raised it. Let us as Africans not be followers. We must also be champions on biocomputing and find ways of doing AI the cheap way, the less energy way, and the less talent way. Remember I said 100 PhDs in one room. I said $100 million to do one LLM. I said 2 gigawatts to do a data center. Why don't we be creative and do it for less than 2 gigawatts, less than $100 million, less than 100 PhD? The Chinese, with their DeepSeek R1, used very little money, less energy. And so that is where to go. But let us be at the front end of work in biocomputing and have a revolution. Also, let us work on quantum computing. I want to see people at MSU who are doing research in quantum computing. Quantum means your computer will be 1,000 times faster. Your cell phone will be 1,000 times faster. Do you hear that? It's work in progress. It's still green right now, not yet available. When we achieve quantum computing, and then we take quantum computing and combine it with AI, that's another revolution altogether. But let us not be late movers and consumers. Research in AI, research in biocomputing, research in quantum computing. AI in Zimbabwe, digital sovereignty. That's why I'm emphasizing that. Let's work with the Pro Vice Chancellor here on data, so that in Zimbabwe, we do data extraction across all sectors. We do data curation in the country. We do data storage in our country. So we can use that data to train the AI systems. We use that data to drive our AI systems. If the data is foreign, the AI system won't be that great for us. So we need to think about digital sovereignty, data sovereignty, by participating in the harvesting of the data, participating in the curation of the data, participating in the storage of the data, having our own data centers. Don't just talk cloud. My data is in cloud. Cloud is to you, it's a physical server in Silicon Valley. It's a physical server in China. There's nothing in the cloud. For you, it's cloud because it's remote. But actually, there's a physical server somewhere storing your data. You are vulnerable. They can switch off your machine. So these are real issues, and I'm glad to raise it. We must discuss ways and means to achieve data sovereignty and digital sovereignty by controlling our data and also producing AI systems. The scrap of minerals, good question. When I say GPU, that $5.3 trillion you saw is coming from GPUs, graphic processing units. What NVIDIA does, they do the design, they do the programming, and then the fabrication is done by TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. It's a very technical exercise, and TSMC is the global leader. But NVIDIA has got the lion's share of the cash because they're doing the design and the programming. So they're the biggest company in the world at $5.3 trillion. But guess what? To do a GPU, to do an NPU, to do a CPU, you need critical minerals, vanadium, lithium. These minerals are in Zimbabwe, they're in Africa. Why don't we leverage our minerals and say to NVIDIA, say to Taiwan Semiconductor Company, we know you're producing GPUs, CPUs, and NPUs, but you're using minerals. We have lots of them in Zimbabwe, a lot of them in the DRC. Can we partner? We give you the minerals, we work with you in the production of the GPUs, so we can benefit from that $5.3 trillion. So rather than allow the Chinese to take our minerals for a song back to China, we say, no, Madam China, no, Miss China, let us work together on lithium and produce the batteries in Zimbabwe together. And then we sell the batteries to Zimbabweans, to South Africa, and to China. Don't take our lithium raw. Let us move up the value chain. Don't allow this scramble to take place. Let us partner with China, partner with NVIDIA, partner with Taiwan, so that we move up the value chain by doing beneficiation and validation in Zimbabwe. So the scramble for minerals is global. Mr. Trump was in Greenland looking for critical minerals. Ukraine, critical minerals. He had a meeting with Rwanda and DRC, Kagame and Tshisekedi, critical minerals. The Chinese are the leaders on rare earth. The way it works is as follows. You have critical minerals as a big set. Within the critical minerals are what are called rare earth. They drive energy transition. They drive defense electronics. So let us box clever and see how we can reverse the scramble for minerals and make it strategic so we partner. And we have value addition and beneficiation on the continent. That's the question on scramble for minerals and data. Now, superintelligence, my sister. You saw the people in the video. These are the owners of the technology. That's Altman there. That's Elon Musk there. Those are the professors, doctors, and owners of AI. You saw Professor Hinton, the godfather of AI. He's worried. He's the creator of backpropagation. He's got a Nobel Prize. And he's worried. So your question is a difficult one. Once we get to superintelligence, no one knows how we're going to protect ourselves. If you see someone says, I know, remember, they are not a godfather of anything. Tell them, I saw the godfather of AI, he was worried. And you are a godfather of nothing, you must be worried. So we can start thinking about it. There are so many unknown unknowns. When we reach to superintelligence, mitigation, you're asking me, how do we protect ourselves? How do we mitigate? It's work in progress. We don't know. We are about 10 years away, 5 years away, depending on who you ask, to superintelligence. But when it does, okay, listen to me. 1 billion robots, which are smarter than the smartest human being. 1 billion robots who are smarter than Bill Gates and Elon Musk put together. 1 billion robots who got a higher IQ than Newton and Einstein. munokontrolasiye marobhotsi akadaro imwimizvi yenyu muneka IQ kadoko. So I must say it's work in progress. The mitigation is under construction. It's an open question. We can start sharing. Maybe we can get the answer from MSU. Let's have a research project at MSU. How do we mitigate in the event that we achieve superintelligence? Let's do the research. But thank you for the question, but it's an open question. People are worried. They're working on it, but there are no simple answers. There are so many unknowns. Let me have another 3 questions.
Thank you very much, Prof, for the lecture that you have just delivered. You are our professor and former deputy minister.
Deputy Prime Minister.
Sorry, bro.
That's fired me. He fired me, this guy.
You knew it's a slip of the tongue. Deputy Prime Minister. Actually, you have preempted the question that I had for you about the way we should handle our minerals. You answered convincingly the way they should be handled. Now, because you are our former Deputy Prime Minister, I see you as someone who has got the gravitas to initiate dialogue around the way our minerals are being handled, particularly the fact that they are largely being exported in raw form. What I am really interested in terms of these minerals is mainly lithium, which I suppose is also very close to your heart because it's one of the ingredients of making electronic chips, which we can establish right here in Zimbabwe. We can establish an electronic chip manufacturing companies here, and in the process creating jobs for our own people rather than for the Chinese or any other nation that is getting our raw material. I think I will end there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Good day, everyone. My name is Christopher Ngwenya, one of the educators in the computer science department. All right, so my question is from an educator or lectureship point of view, and again, it's in line with what we're trying to do as the Faculty of Science and Technology. First of all, I want to thank you, sir, for the insightful, timely lecture. All right, and also it was deeply relevant to what we're trying to do as the faculty. This coming August, we are launching new programs. One of the programs is BSc Honours Degree in Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence. So my question is this. So what can we do, right, as the educators here at MSU to try to bridge the gap between AI literacy and genuine AI readiness, right, to try to embed in our curricula, right, to try to produce graduates who are not only consumers of AI, but at the same time who are actually contributors to the what? To the AI world.
Thank you. Next one.
Greetings, Bushembayo. I would like to ask if it is possible, instead of, I'm not against the developing AI part, I'm asking if it is possible, instead of developing AIs, we study those AIs and we develop other AIs that can actually be used to control the current AIs.
Okay, thank you. Let me just take those 3. I'm glad you brought lithium back. You know, lithium is our major tool, our major weapon. We dominate the world in terms of reserves. So if we get our act together on lithium, we'll do wonders in this country. Our reserves are massive on lithium. So let us make sure that we think very carefully about how we can move up the value chain of lithium. The raw lithium, the concentrates, the cathodes, and the batteries. It's a value chain. We partner with the Chinese or the Americans or the Europeans, whoever, but in Zimbabwe, So we create jobs in Zimbabwe. We create research in Zimbabwe. We benefit Zimbabweans. Let me tell you this about the Chinese. The Chinese were very useful in the war. They gave us guns to fight. Chairman Mao was our fellow comrade. He gave us arms to fight Smith. The current Chinese are not Chairman Mao, they are business people. If you are not careful, they will shortchange you. They are trying to make money, they are trying to help China. They could care less about you and the revolution and comrade behavior of Chairman Mao. They are business people. And I don't blame them. We must become business people as well and say, hey, I know you want lithium, I know you want platinum, but you know what? Let's work together. In Zimbabwe, and we manufacture batteries in Zimbabwe for China. You ship them from Zimbabwe as batteries from our lithium. You shift and ship out the platinum as catalytic converters for our cars from Zimbabwe. It has to be a negotiation that we do. If we just are blind, deaf and dumb, they'll get our resources for a song. And also, do we even know the nature of our resources? Do you know how much lithium we have? Do you know how much platinum we have? You listen to the investor telling you how much. No. Let's do geological exploration and identify how much platinum we have, how much lithium we have, and we tell the investor, you know what? This claim here has 10 billion worth of lithium. What do you bring to the table? That 10 billion is ours. The asset underground has value. We need better mineral laws. We need to negotiate better and make sure that we understand our Chinese brothers are business. Another point. Do you know why China is successful? Do you know why? Number one, scale. The Chinese are 1.4 billion people. Huge market, huge muscle. The Chinese have a GDP of about $22 trillion. So they know the value of numbers. Because that's why they're successful. Because a market of 1.4 billion people is a huge market for any product. India, 1.4 billion people. GDP, about $5 trillion. India understands the value of numbers. But the Chinese will never say to you, you know what, Zimbabwe, why don't you work together in SADC and it could be a bloc? Why don't you work together and be a bloc in ECOWAS? Why don't you work together and be a bloc in Africa? Because you know what? It's not in their interests. They get more value when they have a deal with Botswana, a deal with Zimbabwe, a deal with South Africa, a deal with Nigeria. When you're balkanized, they win. They will never encourage you to unite. And yet they know the value of numbers because there are 1.4 billion Chinese. Can you imagine if I was to walk up and say, here come I'm the African. I speak on behalf of 1.4 billion Africans. Behind me, I have a collective GDP of $3.4 trillion. Now, if I did that, the Chinese will listen to me, not out of love, out of economics. The Americans will listen to me out of economics because I represent a market of 1.4 billion Africans. I have a GDP of $3.4 trillion. That's serious economics. I'll get a better deal from Mr. Trump when I do that. What Tshisekedi and Kagame did was criminal. To go to America as two leaders and negotiate Tshisekedi and Kagame with Trump. Must go as Africa and say, here come I'm the African. I speak on behalf of 1.4 billion Africans. I have a GDP of $3.4 trillion. When I do that, I get a better deal. Don't tell me about a mega deal with China in Zimbabwe, a mega deal with China in Botswana. What kind of mega deal can you get? Zimbabwe, wake up, Gov. You can't do a mega deal as a little country. We can do a mega deal as SADC. A mega deal is Africa. So this lithium debate is important because we are the leaders. And platinum between us and South Africa, we have 90%. 90% of platinum in the world is between Zimbabwe and South Africa. The DRC has 60% of global reserves of cobalt. Let us, number one, move up the value chain, do value addition and beneficiation. Number two, let's work together. Integration, political unity is required for us to unlock value. But guess what? We got a problem. Professor Zimbabwe, we got a problem with our leaders. Because what we want ideally is the United States of Africa. Yes, one country called United States of Africa. 1.4 billion people is one. GDP, $3.4 trillion is one. One president, you hear me? One president of Africa. Why not? The Chinese have one president. The Indians have one prime minister. The Americans have one president. What's so special about you? To have 55 men being president. And the problem is this one. When we are successful, there will be one president, maybe coming from Gambia. So Ramaphosa will be Minister of Agriculture for Africa. Kagame, Minister of the Police. Vamnangagwa, Minister of Public Works. Are these African leaders ready to be ministers? No. I must be a president of starving people. Shame on you, Mr. President. We want one president in Africa. All these other guys must become governors, ministers, and chiefs. Why am I saying this? There's no such thing as a free lunch. Integration has a price. Integration has paid. You must give up on some elements of national sovereignty to embrace the region. You must give up on some elements of national sovereignty to embrace the continent. There is no such thing as a free lunch. Integration is not free. Unity is not free. America, your favorite country. You know, more Americans died in the Civil War than died in World War I and II. More Americans died in keeping America together. Remember, during slavery, the South wanted to break away. And they fought the Civil War to keep America together. America bled to be number one in the world. America bled to be the superstar it is. California, if it was a country, would be number 4 in the world. Georgia, maybe number 6. The governor of California would love to go to the UN as president of California. It would be nice, isn't it? The governor of Georgia would like to go to the UN as president of Georgia. The governor of Massachusetts would love to go to the UN as president. They gave up on the president of California. They gave up on the president of Georgia, president of Texas. There is no such thing as a free lunch. Unity and integration is not free. So the conversation on minerals requires 2 things: beneficiation and value addition, and secondly, regional integration, continental integration, continental unity. Now, my sister, I hope you are listening to me. I want you to speak intelligently about AI. I know we always use this language. We are trying to do AI and machine learning. I said you shouldn't say that. AI is the big circle. Machine learning is inside AI. Deep learning is inside machine learning. So you must say, we have set up a program at MSU to do AI, in particular machine learning. We have set up a program at MSU to do AI, in particular machine learning. And inside machine learning, we're going to deal with deep learning. So that you are clear that machine learning is the big mother of deep learning. And AI is the big picture. But anyway, it's a minor point, but it's important that you understand how they are related. Now, AI literacy, AI readiness, and then AI research. Professor Zimbabwe, AI is very fashionable these days. Everyone is saying AI, I'm an AI expert. AI is a technical subject. You need STEM. Mathematics is important. Statistics is important. Physics, chemistry. AI is about electrical engineering. It's about computer engineering. It's about mathematics. So we must make sure we drive STEM in high school, STEM at primary school, STEM in the university. You can't do proper AI if you don't understand differential equations, Laplace theorems, fast Fourier series. I'm talking Greek, right? I'm saying to you, please, I know we love AI, and AI is for everyone, but let us be very clear. When you say a neural network, when you say back propagation, when you say AI, you're talking about electronics, you're talking about statistics, you're talking about digital electronics. So I'm emphasizing that all of us must embrace AI, but to do AI research, we must also make sure we understand the foundation, which is electrical engineering, computer engineering, mathematics and statistics. Literacy is for everyone. Readiness is for the continent and the country. But research is technical. Yes, but I want you, Vice Chancellor and your Prof Vice Chancellor and your team to make sure you emphasize this one. AI is about electrical engineering. It's about control systems. It's about digital electronics. It's about statistics, neural nets, and all those things. Let's embrace that. But so make sure as you do your work, AI literacy, readiness, and research, you cover all the bases. And also partner with South Africa, with Ghana, with MIT, Harvard. I just came back from Harvard and MIT. We need to link up our students with those schools. There's no AI for the poor. There's no science for the poor. Science is science. That's why I was quoting these guys who are the top leaders in the field. Because there's no machine learning for Zimbabwe and machine learning for Elon Musk. It's the same machine learning. So let us have partnerships so that the African is at the cutting edge of AI. And so we are prepared to work with you to make sure you succeed as a department and building an AI which controls AI. Work on it. It's ambitious. You want to build an AI which controls AI. Yeah, that's why we're at a university. No ideas is a bad idea. Let's do the research. But you must understand where we are in AI, understand the taxonomy, simple task AI, generative AI, agentic AI, artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence. Understand those fields, and then you can say, okay, I want to design an AI to control AIs, and then no idea is a bad idea. Go for it. But remember, we're talking technology. We are talking statistics. We're talking neural nets. We're talking Laplace transforms. We're talking fast Fourier series. Make sure you are with the programs. But let's pursue. An idea is good, but let's do the research. And we'll give you partners in South Africa, in America, as colleagues that I work with in those places. I can link you up with them. Thank you very much for those three. Let me take another three.
My name is Jesse Omandaza, level 5-1 law student. So I wanted to ask a question in relation to AI with the law. There is this recent case in South Africa where a doctor was denied to register or to patent a product that was created by an AI system, right? So now in Zimbabwe, we do not have, or our Patents Act seldom speaks about AI. So I wanted to ask, if you create something with AI, if you generate something with AI, let's say an idea, how do we ameliorate our laws with the moving side of AI?
Thank you.
Okay, so under the Faculty of Social Sciences, the Department of Governance and Public Management, and I'm doing public management and governance. So my question is, to us future public managers, what can you advise us, or what recommendations can you give to the public enterprises so that they can use AI to their benefit and to the growth of the economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof, for the opportunity. I am a level 5-2 electrical and electronic engineering student under the Faculty of Engineering and Geosciences, and I'm working on a research project on digital twins within the mining industry. So my question is, what are your views on digital twins as an accelerant for the adoption of AI within Zimbabwe or African industry? Thank you.
Very important 3 questions. AI and the law, a major area of research. Again, let's have research at MSU on AI and the law. You know why? Number 1, you can use AI in the legal profession. You can use AI to be better legislators, to be better lawyers, better judges. So the application of AI in the field itself of the law. Number 2, AI requires laws. You know, if I brought a driverless car to Gweru, can I use it? Can I sit in there and Zimbabwe doesn't recognize a driverless car, so I'll be arrested because there's no driver in this car. What's going on? Because so our laws must move with technology. So the lawyers have a job to create new laws to enable technology. So we need what we call a law commission in Zimbabwe that studies what's happening in biotechnology, biocomputing, quantum computing, AI, and come up with enabling legislation so that we can use AI. Otherwise, you find that you've got a discovery, but your country does not recognize your product. I've got a driverless car. I've got a driverless helicopter. Can I use it in Harare? What do the laws of Zimbabwe say about a helicopter? It must have a pilot. So the laws must change to say there can be a helicopter without a pilot, without a driver. There can be a car without a driver. So 2 things about the law. Lawyers must use AI to improve their efficacy, their efficiency, their productivity. Lawyers must give us new laws to govern AI. Which is, that's why I was saying we need a Renaissance woman. We need a lawyer who understands machine learning, who understands super intelligence, who understands the terrain, so they can help us craft AI laws. Or we need the computer scientist, electrical engineer who understands the law to work with the lawyer to come up. Your traditional lawyer cannot create laws for AI. Your traditional electrical engineer cannot create laws for AI. We need a Renaissance lawyer, a Renaissance electrical engineer to do. So a major area of research, please, for those in the law faculty, AI and the law. There's a book out there by Marwala and Professor Mupeti on AI and the law, a whole book. In my book, I have a section on AI and the law. By the way, on the book on the Global South, I have 7 sectors that I cover in there. I have 10 case studies. I have Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Rwanda, and Mauritius. I have China, India, Singapore, Malaysia, and UAE. And the most advanced country in thought leadership on AI is not South Africa. It is Rwanda, followed by Kenya. South Africa is a distant third. By the way, South Africa, 2 weeks ago, produced an AI policy document with hallucinations, as I indicated earlier on. Our biggest economy is failing on AI. It's being led by Rwanda. But the debates and the discussions must be done so that we can address this matter of AI and law. AI in medicine, another big area of research. How do we discover it in medicine? How do we come up with the laws? How to use AI in medicine to do the research? Remember the governance I gave you. There must be governance for data, for the models, for the applications, governance, regulations, AI policies. All those things are required under AI and the law. Public enterprise. Just go each one at a time. ZESA, for example. Let's go to our presentation. How can we use AI to improve generation? How can you use AI to do energy management? How do you use AI to manage and drive renewable energy? So we go to applications for each sector. Transport. How to use AI in our road infrastructure, in our railway systems. Major applications in that enterprise, NRZ, in our road enterprise. So you can go through each public enterprise and identify the unique or use cases and the technologies. But remember, the starting point is buy-in and ownership by the leaders of the enterprise, the leaders of the ministries, the leaders of the country. We need leadership that buys into AI, and then we drive it within the sectors. But remember how you get ready. Digitalization, digital transformation, the devices, connectivity. So that's how you prepare the public enterprises to drive AI. Digital twins, I'm very happy you're doing this work. Just so that you are together. A digital twin is where you have a plant, a mine over there, a factory over there, and you create a replica of that mine digitally. That's called a digital twin, or a replica. An entire mine like Wangi, an entire mine like Mashaba or Shaban, whatever, and then you create a digital. So you can actually control the mine from the twin. Without going to the plant, you can control it using the twin. These are called digital twins or digital replica. So very good work that you are doing, and we must see how we can use AI to advance that. But I'm very glad we have people at MSU who are working on the digital twins. A major application of AI, a major important area, because we're a mining company, mining country, mining continent. So the digital twins have applications in mining, in processing, in factories. As long as you have a plant, you create a digital replica of it and drive it. So great work. We need to link you up with other people working in the same area. Thank you for those three, and let me get another three.
Prof, if you allow me to interject, our time is no longer the time.
Okay, so last three. Last three. And be brief. You see, I'm under the gun now. Be brief. Very brief, 3 questions.
Good day, everyone. Thank God for the opportunity. First question is, do you think African countries can adopt AI without becoming too dependent on foreign technologies? Number 2, do you think Africa can develop its own large-scale AI model trained on African languages and cultures?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I have a question here. Like, is indeed that the fact that we fail to consider the layers of AI intelligence is in the reason why Africa is failing?
Put your mic closer to your mouth, please.
Okay. Is indeed the fact that we are failing to consider the layers of AI intelligence the reason why Africa is failing to achieve that artificial intelligence evolution? For instance, right now we face a power cut, but Africa we are blessed with sunlight, but we are using a generator which is using fuel from the Strait of Hormuz, but we are blessed with sunlight. So I believe we would even on the issue of our minerals, such as our minerals, if we were to consider our minerals such as.
Okay, thank you very much. Last one.
Comrade, some member of faculty asked me to ask a question on behalf which might help different faculty.
Sure.
I am engineer Richard Kovere. I come a long way back with Professor Mutambara from our student days to his GNU days until today. Professor, the first question is, this being an academic institution, what level do you recommend that they study AI at? I'm going back to the question that our Japanese computer professor used to ask us. You see, you've got first generation computing, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. Right now, we're probably at the 9th generation. To this institution, what should we recommend? What would you recommend? That they start with the state of the art, or that they factor in the history, like that book you gave me before, the history of scientific revolutions. The reason I'm asking this is, when you are studying anything, you might not be able to appreciate or to benefit from it if you do not have basics. In other words, we started with the slide rule. We went into the table Pascal in terms of programming, and as all these technologies were developing, we were absorbing and adapting to them. An institution like this one, where should they start?
Okay, thank you very much. I got you. Very briefly, Director of Ceremonies. Question on Africa. We must decolonize AI. Start on the subject that this is colonial, this AI we're using. We must decolonize it. We must bring decoloniality into the AI discussion. You are very right. Let us use African languages in AI. Use African languages to build AI. It's already being done, but you are very correct. It's important that we do contribute by embracing our culture, our languages, and our history. So always remember, don't assume everyone has access to AI. We must democratize access to AI. Don't assume AI is benign. It is colonial. It is value-laden, value-loaded. We must decolonize AI. We must bring decolonizing AI. Let us use our own languages. Let us use our own culture. You are right on the money on that. Very important point on renewable energy. You know, sometimes when we have problems, we don't have enough electricity because we don't have fuel, we don't have thermal power stations. Why don't we leapfrog? We'll move away from fossil fuels and embrace renewable energy. We have so much sun. Can we not be innovative enough and say, okay, away from thermal, away from coal, away from the generator that runs diesel, can we harness the sun? Right now, solar panels have gone down in terms of price. You know where the problem is on solar? Is storage. That's why we have a study area again for you guys. Battery energy storage systems, BESS, please. BESS. If we solve BESS, you are going to be completely right. If we're able to harness just 2% of the energy from the sun and store it, we'll never need coal. We'll never need oil from Hamus. But there's still a bottleneck around storage. But you are very correct. Let us use our problems, our challenges as an opportunity to leapfrog from dirty fuel, from fossil fuels to clean energy, to renewable. This idea of leapfrogging is very important. Our troubles, our lack of infrastructure, our lack of development can be an opportunity to jump stages and go renewable. Let me give you an example of leapfrogging from mobile telephony. When the mobile telephone came through, 80% of our people had no access to physical landlines. 80% of our people had no access to brick and mortar banking. So what did we do in Africa? We moved from no landlines to mobile banking. We jumped. We moved from no banking to mobile banking. We jumped. So sometimes our poverty, sometimes our power failure is an opportunity to innovate. When I say M-Pesa, when I say EcoCash, there's nothing in Japan, there's nothing in America that is as good as M-Pesa or EcoCash. Not because they can't do it. Why would you bank on a phone when the ATM machine is in your bedroom? Why would you bank on a phone when the ATM machine is next door? So because there's so much infrastructure on brick and mortar banking, they were slower. Because we're in trouble, we move faster. We are now the leaders in banking on the phone, mobile banking, M-Pesa, and EcoCash are global best practice. Let us use our power failure as an opportunity to be creative and go wireless power. Because the sun will not disappear. It is always there. Let us resolve the matter of battery energy storage systems. That is the bottleneck. Panels are now cheap. Battery energy storage system. If we manage to store, Professor Muzidiwa, just 1% of the energy from the sun, store it. No one in this world will need oil. No one will need coal. But we have a challenge on storage. Work in progress. But thank you very much for that question. What level? Listen again, we can jump stages and go to the highest because we have the unique opportunity of having no legacy issues, no infrastructure sunk costs. But whatever we do, we must introduce AI literacy. That's why I'm happy about MSU. We must introduce computer literacy. That's why I'm happy with MSU. We must do digital literacy. That's why I'm happy with MSU. We must have entrepreneurship. Awareness about the technology is important. Literacy is important. And then we move to the research. That research now, as I said earlier on, please, STEM, physics, chemistry, mathematics, electrical engineering, digital electronics, power systems, control systems. You need the strong engineering background for that to happen. History is very important. Remember, I'm talking about colonialism. We must put our history into the AI system, our values into the AI systems. They are not value neutral, Professor. Makazara value varungu muma AI, value ma Chinese. We must understand our liberation history, our pre-colonial history, and history will help us be better engineers. They say a page of history is worth 10 volumes of logic. I will repeat. A page of history is worth 10 volumes of logic. History yakasimba, culture yakasimba. As I close, I want to emphasize this matter. We must use AI to improve the quality of life of our people in Zimbabwe. We must use AI to improve the quality of life of our people in Africa. Let us link AI to human development. Let us make poverty unnatural using AI. Let us make hunger unnatural. How can people be hungry when one company has $5.33 trillion? When one man has $800 billion? Hunger, going to bed without food is unnatural in that world. But it won't happen unless we're intentional, unless we're decisive, unless we're urgent to say, we are going to use AI to improve the quality of life in Zimbabwe. We are going to use AI to improve the quality of life in Africa. Take it personally and fix Zimbabwe. Take it personally and fix Africa. Get it for me. It's very important that we succeed as Zimbabwe. It's very important that we succeed as Africa. You never be respected as a Zimbabwean until Zimbabwe is done well as a country. You never be respected as an African until Africa is done well as a continent. Let's fix Zimbabwe. Let's fix Africa. You know, I used to go to Davos and talk loud. Like you see, I'm talking loud right now. And they say, hey, Mutambara, very interesting. Where are you from? Hey, I can't do it. I'm coming from MIT, Harvard, McKinsey, Oxford. Those are schools. That's work. Which country? I try to avoid. Where are you from, Professor Mutambara? We like what you're saying. You're very knowledgeable. Where are you from? Eventually I said, I'm from Zimbabwe. Come on, Professor Mutambara. If you're that smart, how come your country is bankrupt? If you are that smart, how come there's cholera in Harare? If you are that smart, how come there are fraudulent elections in Zimbabwe? No. Professor Mutambara, you are no rock star.
You see, my rock star status, my superstardom is decapitated by the bankrupts of my country. I must fix Zimbabwe for me to be respected. So no, Muziziwa. You are no superstar until Zimbabwe is a superstar economy. I thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Prof.
I'd like to thank our Vice Chancellor, like what has been rightly said by our Fletcher students, our Vice Chancellor, Professor V.N. Muziziwa, and the rest of our principal officers for attending such an insightful lecture. And I would also want to thank the university administration in conjunction with the Faculty of Science and Technology, for organizing for us as students, staff, and everyone who attended to have this public lecture on artificial intelligence and technology, as this is where the world is going. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone who managed to attend this event, and I am positive that everyone learned a whole lot of things that are very useful, and we are going to collectively implement those things as MSU, as Zimbabweans.